Hello.
Hello.
We just started harmonizing. I miss you so much.
I miss you
How's it
too.
going?
Wow, it's been crazy. Lots of things happened.
Oh
School's
my God.
open. You went to university.
I feel like a little delirious after yesterday. I woke up at 5 a.m. to go to university for the first time, and now I'm like a little bit dead, but so happy and excited.
How do you like it? How's it going?
Oh, I'm ready. This is my last year of university.
That's
So it's my
true.
final chance. I'm like
Oh my God.
gonna take every opportunity. So I took the train there instead of taking car because I was like, you can read there, you
Nice.
can write. And it was
Did
so
you do it?
nice. I did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I woke up early, got my ticket, sat there. It was just so nice to see like the rivers and everything. Walked from Union like 20 minutes, walked downtown. I just felt
Wow.
so good.
Such an experience. That's so good. This year you graduate finally after
yeah.
4 years.
That is crazy.
Good for you. Wow.
Good for me, kind of, but also up to this point, I'd been really tunnel visioned. Like, okay, this is the the most important year of my life is the final year of university. I have to make this movie, and it was just all the focus was on this, and I didn't really look past that. What's gonna happen after you graduate? And for the first time yesterday, I think I got a glimpse of what it's gonna be like after.
What is it gonna be like?
Which is you just keep working. Literally, you just keep pushing, even though nobody else is going to push you. Of course, in university, professors, there's other people you're competing with.
Exactly.
But it's kind of like our summer, basically. Me and you were just working every day, going to the library, going to the gym. So last night I was at the gym, like running, training for this marathon, and I was like, this is my life now. That's how it's gonna be. It was kind of, it's good to see.
That's true. Yeah. So from now on, like when you start your life, basically, it's going to be more self-discipline.
Yeah,
that is going to
exactly.
play an important role. You're going to be the one that is like have to discipline you and tell you what to do and work on the projects and stuff, which is
That's the thing.
scary. It's so hard, but we have to like.
It's so
it, you know?
important. It's such an important skill. Like, I was trying to write this script all summer. Like, literally
Yes.
for 90 days. I was like, every day I have to write it.
Like-
and guess what? No, I didn't write it. And now I'm in university, and there's a deadline this Friday. So, like, 2 days from now.
And I bet you're gonna like turn it in.
At least even if it's bad, I'm gonna turn it in. Exactly. Like, so last night I was like writing feverishly. I was writing in the morning. Like, I wrote like 4 hours. I hadn't done that at all this summer.
But it's a short film, so it's
That's
not
right.
gonna be that much.
I know.
Writing.
All that 4 hours I did it, like, gave me like half a page, which is fucking crazy. But
Did you edit it? I bet you edit it as you go, so that's
I
why.
also edit a little bit. That's true. I hate that. You're right. Like, you should just write it instead. But something special happened. So last night when I was writing for 4 hours, which is longer than I ever have, I felt these emotions coming in as I was writing. Like, I really felt connected to the characters. And for the first time, I started crying as I was writing. So I was just like writing a line, and I was like, tears. Like, I was the character. Like, I really felt it. And it really exhausted me too. Like, after half a page, I was like, okay, I need to go to the gym. But it was so like rewarding. Oh my God, it felt so good.
You're right. I've experienced that too. It's just the best. I think writing is just therapy, you know?
Yeah.
It's so good. Sometimes you just connect, or like your words come through these characters, and it's just so rewarding. You're right. Definitely. Yeah.
Every line you write, you're like, oh, my life, everyone else's life, I'm changing the world. I don't know, we'll see. I'm sure I didn't read it back though, so I feel like that's a good idea, like just not edit yourself, but it could be really bad. We'll find out today.
That's true. And also, me too, like you said, you went to the gym as well. So I didn't go to the gym for the last like 2-3 weeks at all.
It was like once in a while you did.
No,
Please
but these
tell me.
last 3 weeks, like I haven't done anything. So then suddenly the schools like yesterday started, and I got this sudden urge and motivation, this like rush of feeling. And I started waking up at 5 in the morning,
Oh wow.
going to the gym at 5:30 when it's dark
my God.
out, and there was
Amazing.
like this beautiful moon just above our house, and it was so poetic and so beautiful. And then I go to the gym with the bike.
Wow.
I stay there for one and a half hour with my brother.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we
He
do it
woke
together.
up at 5 too. That's
Yeah.
great.
And it's so crazy because he never wakes up at that time. He's
Yeah.
always like waking up at 9.
Mhm.
Like he taught me how to do that.
Yeah.
Before I wouldn't wake up at 9 or something. And then we went to the gym and it's been just so great. I got so much energy. It's crazy how much energy you can get when you work out in the morning.
Yeah, and then you come home at 7:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Normally you wouldn't even wake up at 7:30, but you're
Exactly.
already your workout is done for the day, so now you have the whole day to work. Amazing.
Yeah, and you come back home and you just take a shower and you feel refreshed, and then you go maybe like eat some really full breakfast, and then you're right. The best feeling ever.
So good. So how many days have you done this up to now?
2.
Oh, so good. Okay.
Just start. But let me tell you, I've been doing that for 4 months last winter.
Oh.
So like, can
in
you
the
imagine?
winter?
Yes, in the winter, when especially Canadian winter. So I would wake up at 5 and go to the gym at 5:30, just walking, and it was the most rewarding thing ever in the world. Like the best feeling.
Okay, you make me want to do that now too.
Sure,
That's
it's so
amazing.
good. There were so many students there, that university students, and I got to talk to them, like get to know them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's like a small group of people that come at that time, and they're always the same people, so you know them. Even today when I went there were some of them that I knew back there, and I said hello.
From last winter, you knew?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
Like still they would come at that time. They had a routine. But I unfortunately quit, so which is really typical of me. Yeah.
You're back now, so that is
Yeah.
so good.
It feels so much better, especially like during fall and winter, I think, to do that. I don't know why.
I feel
much
like
more tempted at this time.
that's right. I mean, you're not waking up to the dark, to freezing. When it's so cold, I feel like you don't even want to get out of your blanket. But I don't know how you did it in the winter. That's amazing. But the thing is, I feel like we need to prepare ourselves for the winter, literally, like with working out every day, just so we're not suddenly having to start at that time. We have to be in our routine
exactly.
for the winter.
That's the thing, yeah. You might want to try it. I don't know,
I
in the
will.
morning.
That's so good, because then I could go to university after that and just feel
Exactly, yeah.
really accomplished.
Just go from there. You have everything in your cart and you don't have to worry. That's so good. Like that's like the best, I think, routine that you can have at this time. It's so refreshing and just, especially because when you're writing or you're a student, you have to sit most of the time.
That's so true.
And just working out a little bit in the morning changes your activates you physically. So
I mean,
it's
working
good
out just like any time you got to, like even last night, it was 10 p.m. or something like that when I went to the gym.
Yeah.
And I was so sleepy. Like I was thinking, I should just go sleep. Fuck it.
Exactly.
But then I felt amazing after going. So gotta do it every day.
Yeah, for sure. At least 5 days a week.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So most of our audience is also probably interested in writing and movies and stuff. So they have to sit around all day. So go work out.
Do it. Work out. And another thing you told me
That's
this
good
week
for
to do was meditation before you sleep
yeah.
and when you wake up. And that's been so helpful. You told me yesterday. I did that this morning. Just like calms you when there's everything. You feel like you're being attacked by all these things. But you then realize, no, actually it's your choice. You're putting yourself in these hard situations because you want to grow. So take it in, enjoy it. Like the world is not going to end if you fail.
Sure.
Actually, everything will be better because then you pushed yourself to your limit and you failed. And next time you do it, guess what? You probably won't fail. Or if you do, then the time after that you won't.
Yeah, that's so
starting to
true.
realize.
Especially this week I also battled with myself a lot, especially on the point that, okay, I overwhelmed myself and I had to one part of me would say that, okay, stop it, be a little relaxed, calm down, it's okay. And the other part is I have to do this. I have to write a short story, I have to write a novel, I have to write a play, I have to learn how to write comedy, I have to write everything. It's just so overwhelming. I have to write a blog, I have to edit videos.
Oh my god, and you edit it so fast. I can't believe it. Okay, so we worked.
Timer, yeah.
Unbelievable. I was just in the car driving and I see a message, the video's done. We filmed it 2 minutes ago. What are you talking about? And it was
I'm glad
done.
there wasn't much revision to the first video. The second one, but exactly. So it's been kind of crazy, but I think I still have to work on being calmer, you know, and that's what works.
Yeah.
Being stressed just doesn't work at all. It affects the quality of your writing.
That's so true.
It affects your relationship with others, how you treat others. So you're always resentful, and it's just not a good way to live your life, you know.
That's so true. Like, you know, it was you who recommended me this YouTube channel. What's it called? The poem one, the poetry.
Oh, yeah.
So I
the
listened.
Persian YouTube.
Yes. So I just played a random video. I didn't even look at the title. And then it was so like relevant to my life. It was about being patient and all that. And the first time I listened, I was like, yeah, of course you have to be patient. I know this. But then during the days when I keep thinking about it, I realize it's so much deeper than you realize. Like, for example, let's say you're writing a novel right now and you write the whole thing and then you're like, oh, why didn't it get published? I feel so lost. But being patient means realizing you wrote this novel for a reason. You learn so much from it, and now you're writing the second one. And just because or for example, with the podcast, like if we don't get the viewership that we think we deserve, you just gotta be patient. Like if it takes 20 years, then it takes 20 years. So that's what I realized, and it just helped so much because it's not like a hourly battle. Every day you have to go back to your work, and once a day is done, you need rest, and then you go back to it the next day. So for me, it was a lot of like, you need to finish this thing today, you need to write it, and then I would be like so disappointed in myself. But it's about like the marathon of the going slowly and steadily. Like, okay, you write today, you write tomorrow, and the day after, and then it is done. And you don't feel so bad about your life.
So glad that you got this kind of lesson. It's something that you know, a lot of people talk about, or you know it, but how you apply it in your life is kind of difficult. But that's good that you know, and that's good that you reminded me and everybody to like think about the journey, you know. That's what's important.
It's literally all about the day, every day. Like productive day doesn't mean that you finish something. It just means this day you got through, and the next day you do.
For sure. Like, look at your life, look at your past memories, and the only thing that you remember enjoying, or like when you look back you kind of laugh at, is like the struggles, the bad things that at the time you were miserable. Those are the times that you laugh at. Like, that's the same for me. I just look back, and the only memories that are funny to me are the ones that I was just struggling, killing myself, you know, all this stuff, and or like the bad things that happen, or the way, you know, it wasn't when I came like to Canada that was like the best memory I had. It was like the journey of all this ups and downs and uncertainty, and you know, these travels, these immigrations. That was what's like stuck with me, actually.
That's so true. And that's what made you as well. It's not like the happy memories make you who you are. It's the struggle. And I realized it's the exact same with like failure. I did kind of mention this already, but there was this exercise I read in a book that was like, set a timer and write as many accomplishments that you had as possible in one piece of paper.
Oh my god.
So I started writing like everything that I could think of, anything that made me proud. And then after I was looking at it, and I realized so many of these at the time I thought were my failures. So for example, it was, I participated in a karate competition, and at the time I did not win any awards, right? So I was like, oh, I hate my life, this is bad, I want to quit karate. And I did quit karate, terrible. But looking back, I'm like, wow, for 2 years I went to karate class and I pushed myself to get into a competition. I'm so proud, you know? So all these failures in your life right now, you're going to be so proud of later, just for trying it.
There was not one time that, like, there was a very long time that I didn't win in any volleyball competition, and I was so furious, like, oh my god, my luck is so bad. Every team I go into, they fail, even if they're the best team. They fail if I just walk in them. And it was like one bad omen, you know, this thing that I always grew in my mind, you know, this idea that every team that I entered, like, went into and played with, they failed. And it just wasn't the case. Now I look back, and we had so many wins that I just skipped through at the time. Like, we won so many competitions, and it just went over my head, and now I look back and I'm like, oh my god, I went to this huge like competition in Tehran, the capital of Iran, and I was like competing with all these people from different provinces.
Wow.
And that's like, what?
The nationals.
Yes. Like, what? And I was like furious with myself, and I was just eating myself alive, like what? Always stressing and doing that. And I was like in grade 6. So
wow,
like, what?
That's crazy.
I know, right? So why do we do this?
Yeah. I mean, on the one side, you think maybe it pushed you to do better because you believe that, but also I feel like it hurt your mental health and maybe physical ability a lot by just thinking, I'm the reason this group is failing, even though it had nothing to do with you at all.
Yeah.
And they weren't even failing, so it's just literally in your head. God damn it. What can we do?
Especially, not all people are like that. Some people have like this syndrome of like imposter syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
That's us,
Yeah.
Kind of like never feeling like we belong to this
That's
group,
true.
or like we deserve that, something like this. And or we always feel like an imposter, even like in podcasting, even in like writing, even in maybe in filmmaking. I don't know if you feel that way,
definitely.
but in writing I do feel it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just, but some people aren't like that. Some people are really confident in their abilities, even if they're like the same level as us.
That's the thing, yeah. Like
those are the ones that actually win.
Yeah, like I could show someone my script and just be like, oh, it's so bad. I know it's bad, but like read it, and then somebody else will show me theirs, and it is just the same, yeah, or worse,
even worse, yeah.
But they're confident about it. Why can't we learn to be confident?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Even at university yesterday, so this is a new group, right? My group graduated, and I'm like kind of like came with a new, younger people. So I kind of barely know them, and I was like, oh, how's it gonna be? I already struggled so much with my group. I was with them for 4 years. I came in, as soon as I come in, everyone's like, hello, like a bunch of people I worked with knew me. And after the class was done, I told you, like, a few of us went to eat somewhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, in my head, I was like, why are these people hanging out with me? Like, why did they come here? But then you have to realize, oh, maybe you're like their friend. What the hell's wrong with you? Just enjoy the moment.
Oh, yeah, that's so true. Sometimes, like, you feel like you don't deserve maybe the affection of others. That's why you kind of like detach yourselves from others as well. I do that. That's so bad. Yeah, I can't connect with people instantly. Yeah, you always question things like, why? What is their motive? What do they want from me?
So
like
true.
So nice,
yeah,
stuff.
That's so true. Maybe they just enjoy your presence. Yeah, but
all the struggles.
We'll get over it.
Yeah. Yesterday I tried to write a short story for the first time.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't write short stories. It's just too, like, I don't know. It's too short for me.
Too limiting.
It's too limiting. Yes, exactly. I want to describe like in detail because I usually like to waste time. So short story is efficient. It's quick. You have to get to the point fast. Same goes with short films, right?
Exactly.
You have to like just take the bold parts, the things that you want to say. So I didn't know how to do that. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos. I tried to like read some short stories, but none of these stuff helped. So I just said, okay, let's come with a premise. What do I want the story to be about? I wanted it to be about the fact that you can't take full control of your life. You know, sometimes you just try to control everything that happens to you, even things that are outside your like influence.
That's true.
Things that are outside you, things that you just don't have any say in their like happening and in their taking place in your life. So when you try to control even those things, you get distracted and you destroy your life. So I wanted something like this to be the premise. And then I wanted it to be about, I wanted it to be a classic. I usually want to write like stories in the past, as you know, like historical stories mostly. I don't know why. I just can't write anything modern.
Could it be because you read so many classics?
That's true, exactly.
Yeah, maybe.
The fact is, like, the materials that you consume influenced what you
Oh
write.
yeah,
or
for sure. Yeah, yeah.
the art that you produce. So I read a lot of like historical things and as well as like watch a lot of them and think
Yes.
about them all the time. So I've been doing that for years now.
Yeah.
And so like all I can think about is just these stuff. And that's kind of like
So did you get to write it all?
yes, so
What the hell? In one day?
Yes.
That's crazy.
not even one day, it was like 25 minutes or like something.
Shut up. That's amazing.
I wrote 3 scenes. I
Uh-huh.
said that it's just gonna have 3 scenes and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And just came up with it. It's mostly like it's not a very active kind of story. It's mostly like reflecting and things like that, but still like so fun. I wanted it to be comedy. I wanted it to be funny. I wanted it to be romantic, and I wanted it to like have this message. So I just knew this stuff and wrote the 3 scenes based on that. And it was just done, you know, and I read it to my family and they liked it too. Even though it was like in English, I had to like translate it at the same time, like live translation.
Amazing.
Yeah, I did that and I think it was so good, but I have to work on it still. I have to read it to you guys as well.
Oh, yes.
That would be good.
That would be so good, actually, if you read it here. Then it's like a fresh story that we get to hear.
Yeah. I have to edit it though.
Okay.
First, yeah.
That's amazing.
kind of
So
fun.
I hear, so then you've had a great writing week, basically.
I
What about
think
the novel?
The novel, I haven't worked on the novel, unfortunately. I've tried to work on like blogs or
Oh, yeah.
writing like some kind of comedy or things like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Or some other short stories,
Mhm.
but haven't worked on a novel. I think I need more practice. That's why I'm kind of postponing the novel right now.
I know
Practice in my
exactly what you mean.
Yeah. I need to like be sure. Even though that's bad. I'm just lazy. Yeah. That's an excuse.
I feel, both sides make perfect sense because on the one side, you're like, when I write a short story, it's preparing me to write a better novel.
Yeah.
But on the other side, you could also say, why don't I just write the novel?
Exactly. Because sometimes I feel like my writing kind of gets boring or I just repeat everything when I'm writing, like the style of my writing. So I think that I'm in desperate need of like some writing exercise or some improvement, and that's why I do that. I go like write different projects.
The thing is, this is kind of unrelated, also kind of related. So in Sense and Sensibility, the book we're going to talk about, I put some pages out that I wanted to read to you, but it was because first I listened to the audiobook, so I was like screenshotting which parts of the audiobook I like, and then later like searching it up in the book, and then you would search up a word, like for example potency, a random word, and you would see it's only in the book one time. What? Like you only use this word once? That's crazy to me. So this like variation that this 300-page book has, so many words were only used like once or twice. How is that possible? I feel like I use only 300 words and I don't keep repeating those.
Yeah.
It was so like
Jane
new
Austen is just incredible. I just read her novels and I'm blown away.
Yeah,
like,
for real.
it's so good. How does she? I don't know if everybody wrote like that at the time.
That's a good question. Yeah.
Like, of course, no writer likes the same way, but generally, like English people, did they write in this way? Did they talk like that? Did they write in this kind of way? Because it's just sometimes I have to think. Like I read a paragraph and I have to think like, what does that even mean?
I know, it's so poetic. Yeah. Wow.
Sometimes I have to interpret it, even though like.
That's true.
Yeah.
Wait, there was one line I wrote down here. It just like, I love it. So there's this one line I saw. It describes how a person feels when they really want to hear something. So this one character is like in love with a guy, and now she's hearing news from him, from somebody else. So the line is, she caught every syllable with panting eagerness. That's amazing. I would never, like, I would just write, she listened closely, like her eyes widened or whatever it was.
Yeah.
She caught every syllable with panting eagerness. I was just like, oh, it's so visual. Thank you so much, Jane. And it's like the book is full of these lines.
That's
amazing.
Incredible. So good.
Good for Jane. Oh, wow. Like, how did she come up with that? Either she felt really deeply, And also, this was her first novel. Are you joking?
Yeah, this was her first. But she did write a lot of short stories, though.
Oh.
That's the thing, yeah.
Oh, I see.
So, okay, Sense and Sensibility is such a good story. You know, most of you, or most of us that are, like, introduced to Jane Austen is through, like, Pride and Prejudice, of course, the most famous book. But there are so many other works that she has that are just as well and so beautiful and have, like, a different kind of, like, flavor to them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sense and Sensibility is fully a rom-com, I have to say. Like, it's just so, like, a modern romantic comedy you might watch. It's not like a task you have to do. It's literally, it feels like a guilty pleasure as you read it.
Oh, but
Did
I
it
have
for
to
you?
say, it was kind of, like, hard to get through at times. It was kind of boring than, like, Pride and Prejudice, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pride and Prejudice is just so upbeat and it's just things are happening. It's so exciting. But this one was, like, a little bit, of course, it was so different.
It did feel like a little melodramatic.
Yeah.
And also, I was listening to it in the car with my family there.
Oh.
And I feel like when you listen to something with your family, even if it's music, you kind of become more self-aware of how does this sound? Like, what do other people think about me listening to this? And it was so romantically driven. Like, the whole Sense and Sensibility story just felt like I was listening to this, like, erotica. Even though there's no, like, sex. Yeah. But the whole time they have mans on their mind, like, they're talking about it. And so that's one thing I was like, oh, come on. But then as you keep reading the characters, you just, you know, you want their success, or you're just like want to see how their life is going to turn out. But it's fully a romantic comedy, I have to say. Like, very little, I mean, there's drama, but it's not as serious as Pride and Prejudice, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Jane Austen is all about social satire and mockery at times. You know, there are so many silly characters, silly women. And
that's
of course,
true.
Sir John. There is Mrs. Jennings.
Yeah, they're all so funny too.
Yeah, but, like,
dramatic as fuck.
Exactly. And most of her, like, main characters are very, like, they're mostly sisters, you know?
That's true.
Like, two sisters together, because Jane Austen also had a sister named Cassandra, I think. And they were really close to each other. And even, like, she published some of her work, or, like, I don't know, they always wrote letters to each other, which she burned after Jane Austen died.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Why?
Because, like, at the time, it was kind of, like, scandalous if some of her letters were out, you know.
Wow.
They write, you know, imagine, like, your text just
I guess
published.
But she could have just kept it for herself, I feel like.
Yeah.
Just burned it. That's dramatic.
Exactly. They were, like, a close family, because her brother also published some of her novels.
You did say that.
Yeah, when she died. So, yeah, she always had this really good relationship with her sister, and most of her characters or stories also have the same thing. For example, Pride and Prejudice, there's, like, Elizabeth and Jane, which is her name also, Jane.
Oh.
And, of course. And then Eleanor and Marianne also, like, share the same symbols of their relationship.
That's the thing. But what do you think? So they have a younger sister too, Margaret. What do you think was her purpose being there?
Margaret.
She was like, so she's too young to be involved in the marriage and everything. She was just kind of like a listening, like she would give some secrets away for the first part of the book, and then she disappeared. So I was like, Jane, why did you need to have them have a younger sister? What's the point?
I have no idea.
Just to add realism, maybe.
Mean, there are things that she changes, like she says to Eleanor about Marianne giving the lock of her hair to, what was his name, Willoughby. And then saying, okay, also the fact that Edward Ferrars was really kind to the young sister, like Margaret, was also a very determining fact, or like point in Eleanor's affection towards Edward, I think.
I see. Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
So she sees that Edward is nice to her sister, to her young sister, so she's also more partial to him.
I guess. So she was more of like a plot use character. Like she didn't have a goal of her own, I feel like.
Yeah, plot motivator. Kind
plot
of like,
motivator.
Or pusher. Something a little bit.
Yeah, she's a plot pal. That's great.
Yeah. So Sense and Sensibility was so cool because the whole time you're just questioning the fact that is it better to be sensible or to be like okay, have sense or be sentimental and sensible. Which one is better? And you kind of also like picture yourself, am I more sensible or like have more sense?
And you know what? I just realized like that's a problem that we even have today. And I'm sure it was such a big deal at that time because they were just coming out of this era of you have to marry a guy for money to like finally realizing, but love is a thing too. Maybe you love someone.
That's so true. Did you read it somewhere also? Like,
yeah, I did. Yeah.
Because that was the era that romanticism kind of like emerged. That's such a good idea. Like, there were so many philosophers at that time. One of them was a French philosopher, I think, that kind of started this movement of romanticism and love, and that passion is much more important. If you have passion and love in your life, it's much more important better than having a devoted and loyal, for example, spouse or something. He said that it's much better to have it that way.
And then the whole book considers both sides, and still I don't know which one is better, because even today you think, yeah, of course I would love to marry for love if I were to get married, but then you think if the guy was poor, I don't think I could love him, you know? So then you're being sensy.
Sensy. That's a word.
Instead of sensible.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's crazy. It's such a good topic that she chose to explore in her first novel.
And the thing is that the lesson of the book is basically that not even Marianne or Eleanor were right, you know, in their nature and disposition. And they started to be happy and change their life when they learned from each other. So they started to balance things out. So it's not about the fact that you have to be like really feel things and be more passionate or be more like rational. It's about the fact that you make a balance in your life of both things, you know. You show your feelings as well as like are more rational and kind of like sensible.
Like the guy Edward, who Eleanor loves, he didn't show his feelings at all. He's such a loser guy. Like for 4 years he was engaged to somebody he says he doesn't even like, and just because it's the sensible thing to do. I keep confusing these two words, by the way.
Exactly.
Why did she choose sensible? She should have just said sensitive. But anyway, like he's doing the thing that he thinks makes sense by staying with this woman because he engaged to her, whatever.
Oh, that's what happened at the time. When a gentleman proposed, you know, he couldn't take his word back. It was the woman's like choice to release him.
Amazing.
Yeah, he couldn't do that. If he did that, he would be such an dishonorable man. Yeah, definitely.
But I was gonna say Willoughby did that because Willoughby did knock up somebody.
Yeah,
and he did that to
he was
Marianne.
well called by everybody that in their acquaintance as a dishonorable man. It was such a bad thing to do that, you know. Okay, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, did you forgive Willoughby after he gave his explanation?
No.
Me neither. Like, he's such a sly figure.
Yeah.
Even though he was so nice at the beginning, he's just blaming everything on his wife. Come on.
Yeah.
I didn't forgive him. Okay,
No.
you were saying something?
That Willoughby, and also, like, Marianne was always on my mind, you know. She was just bothering me too much.
Yeah, I know.
She was such a stupid character. Yeah.
Like, some things she totally did, because she's just always crying. She's like, I'm upset for weeks.
Desperate
as hell. Yeah. And she's acting so smart. Like, she's like, oh, I have my books, I'm better than everybody.
But
she's not. And she kept leaving. Like, if there's anybody came to her house she didn't like, she would just leave.
Yeah.
Why don't you stay and talk? Yeah, what the hell?
She was too honest and things, but I think that Eleanor was such a picky character in terms of, like, she would talk about, she had a lot of inner dialogue or, like, things that she thought about that when you read the book, you realize, like, what she was thinking about at the time. So she was always, like, so judgmental of everybody that she came in contact with. For example, this woman, what was her name? Lucy.
Oh, yeah.
Edward's fiance. So she was thinking about it even before she knew that this woman was engaged to Ferris. she was like, oh my god, this is like a really illiterate girl. She's like silly, she's that. And she has this sister, Marianne, that is like the silliest girl
That's
ever.
so true.
And she's judging everybody else.
She
Like,
is judging. Okay, it is
yeah.
bad. I agree with you. But also, she's so nice to everyone in person. Like, she says, yes, ma'am. She's there, brings the
Yeah.
tea. So I feel like at least she's, managed her mind to not match her actions. Whereas Marianne, just if she doesn't like something, she will leave. She doesn't care.
Oh, yeah.
But Eleanor at least puts on a pretense.
Exactly.
That's good.
There's this thing in Jane Austen books and stories that always repeats itself. It's the fact that the guys that are like really charming and seductive, these guys, you should not trust these guys. Like, you shouldn't go for the one that always charms you and lures himself in with his words and,
That's fair.
Like Wickham in Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah.
He was like the first love interest of Elizabeth, basically. Like, and he was like a sly character. At the end, we realized that. And he was lying the whole time. And also, this guy Willoughby is like the same thing. Like, they're cut from the same plot.
Yeah, and what did you think about his like coming clean, where he says, what's it called? He's like, I was just playing. Like, literally, he comes out and he's like, I just wanted her to like me. I didn't have any intentions.
You mean the letter?
When he came to talk to Eleanor and like explain everything, he's like, yeah, when we first met, even though I was so nice, like I had no intentions at all. I just wanted to pass the time.
Oh my
And
God.
like, your sister was nice and I liked that. And he came out and said that. Like, isn't that crazy? I feel like in no novel have I heard so much honesty though. Like, he was just saying exactly what his intentions were, and at no point did he love her until like later when he says he fell in love, whatever. But I feel like that's usually the role of women, to be the sly, like, I was just flirting, like I didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
But for the first time a guy did that and I was like, damn, this is cool, Jane. Thank you for writing that.
Exactly. But the thing is, like, Marianne always assumed things, He didn't say he loved her. He didn't propose to her.
That is fair.
He didn't give her anything to cling on or to just think that he had any regards for her.
He did, though. Okay, wait. He took her to his house and was like, look how nice his house is. It could be cleaned up.
Whatever. Like, did he propose to her?
Right.
Did he like...
And he took her hair, though.
Yeah, that's true. But did he promise something,
Mm-hmm.
I know that, like, I know these things, but still,
No,
when
you're
there's
right,
an easy girl like that,
Mm-hmm.
like, if any man would do anything.
That's so true. Yeah. Just because he was like nice and loving, it doesn't mean that you have to fall for it.
Yeah.
Like, I so relate to this, where it's like, if a guy I like is just a little nice, I start fantasizing about everything, like our first date, our second date, and it is very toxic. You are right, because you're just creating patterns that maybe don't exist.
That's true. But if a guy like was treating you like Willoughby, you would definitely think that he loved you.
That's the thing. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to blame Marianne as well.
It's kind of like that was the time that this sort of thing started, with like men and women kind of not being sure of what is it called, like a dating thing and the talking stage and these things. Maybe they started at that time, You go on so many days and you're still not sure, like, on which page you are, like.
That's so true.
On.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the time that it all started. I don't know.
But I don't know. It's hard to judge at the same time. Because, for example, Eleanor, she also had no basis, I feel like.
Exactly. She had nothing. No basis at all. I don't even understand how she even came to the conclusion that Edward loved her much more than the fiancé. Like, did you... that part of the book, it's like halfway through the book, and she realizes the fact that Edward is engaged. Yeah. And at that time, she's convincing herself still, when she's talking to herself, that no, Edward still loves me more than the fiancé, and he's just bound to her because of like the proposal that he made, like when he was really young.
That is
and he's
so
so miserable,
true.
and I want to cry for him.
Like, the thing is, she didn't say it out loud, at least. So that's
No.
good. She just kept it in her head. But she
Yeah.
had this fully wrong belief. Like, literally, when Edward came to their cottage, he
Yeah.
was like, I shouldn't have come here. This is a mistake. And he left
No.
immediately. And then in her head, she's like, wow, he loves me so much. That's why he did that. So
Exactly.
she's not very sense-driven either.
But she's just like me, you know. I don't show any feelings to the one that I like.
Oh,
or
yeah.
have a crush on. Oh my god, they're not gonna catch me looking at them.
Amazing. That's a good plan.
Exactly. And then that's like the thing. And Eleanor is basically like that too. I think that I act at times, like when I'm with people that I'm comfortable with, I act a little more like Marianne, more sensible or like sentimental. But most of the times, I think that I restrict and restrain my feelings. So I'm more like Eleanor in that sense. The fact that I repress the feelings, just that.
Yeah.
Not that I'm like rational.
The thing is, yeah, the two were so similar, except the fact that one would show the emotions and one would just keep it in. But also, the other difference was that fucking Marianne was always trying to get somebody to help her out. Like, either she's falling, tripping, breaking something, or like she falls ill and she needs somebody to take care of her.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Remember that time that we were on the boat and we were coming up with a scenario? Okay, we were on this floaty boat and we were in the middle of the lake, you know,
rowing in, like acting like we're drowning, acting like there's pirates.
Exactly. And we came up with these two characters, these two sisters that were like in the middle of the ocean, crossing the border or like going to another country. And they were like, we pretended that these were like islands around us. And when we were doing that, we had this huge argument when we were in character that kind of the characters resembled Marianne
so
and Eleanor.
much, yeah. It was like the proud older sister who will figure this out on her own, and the younger sister was like, I just want some help, please. Any man who comes my way, I will go with them instead of you. Exactly. That's just like Marianne.
That's such a. I think maybe it's like a typical kind of like two characters, like two sisters.
That's true.
Or women dynamics, but
that's
still,
true.
It's very relevant. Like it's always there. There's always you can find two friends when there are two friends. I bet like one is like that.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the path for like two of the paths for women.
Yeah.
If there's no more, I'm just gonna. One of them is you be attractive and you find somebody to help you, or you try and help yourself. Like these, all women are always thinking about this.
That's true, yeah. The struggle still to this day is how to balance between these two. Especially now that more women like want to repress their emotions, maybe, I think.
That's true. Yeah, I always wonder like, I like dressing up, I like putting on makeup, I enjoy it, but at the same time I feel like such an object when I do it. So it's like, which one? I don't know. It always fluctuates.
So true, you know. But you know, you still have these women like Marilyn Monroe that I just watched a video about her, and she, even though you know, the thing is that she used what she had, you know. She used her potential, and that was like her beauty or whatever. And it wasn't just beauty, it's her attitude, the way she talks, the way she walks, you know, her energy, and which is very contagious and so attractive. She used that to her advantage, and still at the same time she made so many changes in the society. For example, she changed fashion, she helped a lot of people, you know. She
helped them with what would
like
you say?
Donating or
really?
Campaigns and so many things. Like she was an influential person and she used that to the full advantage. So it's like maybe for women it's that we have to play this card that we have,
that's
this
true,
beauty card, to do the things that we think are
exactly
like rational, or the things that we want to, the accomplishments.
It's so
changes.
Painful. Like as soon as you are pretty, as soon as you put a little bit of makeup on, crazy how different people treat you. Like
Yeah.
even women, but like especially men. Where and it's like these men in positions of power, they could do things for you, you know. And so somebody is attractive, suddenly they have this whole world open to them. It's like the possibilities are endless. So annoying, but also like, I guess you're right. We have to use
works, yeah.
whatever.
But they also say that whenever you put a skirt on or like a dress, you also get treated differently as well.
That's true.
Especially nowadays, I think women should take advantage of that because every woman is wearing pants and
I
trousers.
guess.
So
The thing is, so I see somebody in a street wearing a skirt, and I just think, I'm looking at their ass. I'm sure all these guys, like older men, are also looking. Do you want to be looked at like this? Like, it's uncomfortable. It could be dangerous. Yeah. So what? Like, your date thinks you look pretty. Is it really worth it? I don't know. I always think about this.
But you could wear a long skirt.
A long skirt. Yeah. Okay, fair. Because this lady I was talking about was wearing a short skirt.
Oh, yeah. No, not that. you gotta have class.
Yeah, like I was thinking, if the outfit, you can't wear it in front of your parents, then maybe you shouldn't wear it.
Yeah.
So that's the new attitude I'm trying to get into my life. Like a lot of clothes I have, I'm putting them aside now.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. We'll see.
Exactly. And then here's the thing, like these people like Marilyn are just my idol, you know. But it's so hard to kind of like go about that. How do you use your charms? How do you become seductive and, you know, make changes with whatever you have?
Because I feel like you could get stuck in this loophole, like not loophole, but like this dark hole of then you have to keep seducing people to get what you want. Like you'll turn into the
Vanity Fair.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like, oh, it's good for now, but then you'll never be happy if you keep trying to get through the world through this power.
For sure, yes.
And it also fades. So if you get you clutch on it too much, then as soon as you're older, suddenly you're like, now I have nothing and nobody likes me anymore.
That's true.
I don't know.
Yeah. And Marilyn also didn't have a really good ending as well.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing. Don't you think it was so rude how people were saying Marianne is fucking ugly? Like after she a couple times after she broke up with Willoughby and everything, the brother was like, wow, Marianne used to be so handsome, even handsomer than Eleanor, but now look at her, she's rotten, like something like that. And
God, that's like, what happened.
Yeah, and she's 17 at this point.
Oh my God. You know, in like small towns in Iran, still the same tradition is going on, you know? That the fact that if you are like with a man or you're dating like that, you will be like always, if you're that intimate and you show it like this, they would think that you're engaged.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't do that, you know. You shouldn't openly display anything. You should just disguise every feeling that you have. You should be more like Eleanor. If you don't want to be like called
the talk of the town.
Yeah, you don't want to be the talk of the town or the whore, you know, of the town, basically.
So bad.
Yeah, it's so bad
that people would talk like this, but it is what it is.
It's still this way. It's just so annoying back there.
So much rumors going around. And you know what? In this book, there was so much fucking rumors. Like every older woman is just sharing the secrets of these young girls. Like it's none of your business, but that's just what made them happy.
They didn't have anything to do.
Literally. Oh, nobody had anything to listen to. Yeah, that's so true. It was like the guys even. Like the guys, we never got to see their work. They were just, okay, I'm off to work now. I'm going for a year.
I'm going to business. Yeah. For business to town, you know.
Exactly.
You won't see my ass for 4 years.
Exactly. And then they would be back and right back into romance. And the girls, like, oh, they're just dressing up every day for lunch and like going to the park. And they sleep. It's like, oh, do you have no other purpose in life? Like, and I'm sure they would read sometimes, but like, sew something. I don't know. Go to town, sell it. Try to do something.
They wouldn't sell anything.
They wouldn't
just
sell
for the poor, you know.
Oh my
God. Are they
God,
merchants?
so
no.
bad.
Yeah. These are ladies. Ladies don't sell.
Such a desperate life, in my opinion. So boring.
For
All they care about is, oh, we need a house that has 15 rooms. For what? What do you need 15
dishes,
rooms for?
you know, China dishes from
Like they're saying we are so poor, we're living in a cottage, and they have a maid at the cottage, and you're acting poor?
Exactly, like
Fucking idiot.
and even did you see the house? That
Oh
was,
yeah, it
like,
was
in
huge.
the adaptations.
Yeah.
It's like if I lived in,
I know.
if you call that a cottage, I don't know what would you call
Fuck.
my house. You know,
It's like in the mountains, the beautiful, best view ever.
and it's two
Kitchens.
floors.
That's
you know?
right.
What
So
the
what is
hell?
wrong with
What
them?
kind of cottage is that?
I know. Do you think that everyone at that time was this rich? Of course not. Not everyone.
No.
Or is it just that Jane Austen
Those that were-
enjoyed writing about this?
Jane Austen
class.
wrote mostly about middle class
This was middle class.
gentlemen. Yeah.
Wow.
It's like the gentry, kind of. There were like different classes, of course, in London, in England, basically. There were the poor would work, you know? Basically, those that work, even to this day, those that work, us, we are from the lower class, you know?
Wow. But everyone works though. Even
Well,
the higher
the thing
class.
is that the higher class, they have businesses or they have lands, they have investments. They don't, their income doesn't come directly from their labor. It comes from passive streams, different streams, you know. They have tenants, they have lands, they have investments. So that's why they're like,
got it.
and the thing is, I always, every day, I look around and I'm like, oh my God, the world has not changed a little bit. It hasn't changed one bit. Trust me on this. Trust me. Nothing has changed. Don't you think that, okay, now that you have technology and all that, or that we have equality,
Yes, fair.
that it's like actually you're treated like really equal to others or the wealthy class. You're not, okay? Everything is the same as it ever was, and it will always be like that, you know, as long as humans have this greed and all this stuff. So
Damn.
yeah, right now it's a little bit more concealed. Maybe you don't see that wealthy people like that are like in your face, or they try to like be rude to you, but they still exist that way, and they have their advantages and they live advantageously. So
Would you say that art right now is created more for the middle class, or like at least the subjects are more middle class and lower class though, compared to that time?
Art is something that poor people, of course, never could like afford to go about it. And art was mostly like reserved, I think, for
That's fucked.
middle and upper class that could like have the time to express their feelings, you know.
That's true. But now it's like anyone can create art. First of all, like you could just create a video on TikTok and anyone else can watch it. But also, at least in the last year, I've realized any film that is the subject of it is what's it called? Rich people. It's always putting them in a bad position. Like it's showing them either lose everything, or it's showing them like showing their greed, and it's never positive, like how this book was, where it's like, okay, sure, this guy is a millionaire, but we love him still and we agree with him. But then, like, for example, I'm thinking of this movie Triangle of Sadness. It's a bunch of billionaires on a yacht, and they're just enjoying their time, except that like shit goes down on the yacht and it crashes, and then they have to fight to the death, and like, so a bunch of movies like that came out this year. Maybe that's the
like
difference.
kind of like who writes these movies or goes about that?
That's
Are
a good
they
point.
like from a media, or are they like individual
They
projects?
they are individual projects. A bunch of them were made by successful filmmakers though, so they are now part of the higher class.
That's, you know, they could be brainwashing people. I'm not gonna lie, because in Iran, that's the thing. They always, here's the thing, movies in Iran or TV shows that we used to watch when we were little, these TV shows, my family started watching them again on YouTube. And this time I was watching like with intensive kind of attention to the message they were trying to send us. And it was just, all of them were the same. It was that being poor is good.
What?
You will be happy if you're poor. and rich people are bad. Don't be rich. Rich people are greedy, and they will like destroy their lives and the ones around them. And poor families are always together, happy and good. Like that's the message that all of the TV shows. Yes, all of them. And it's like brainwashing them, of course. Everybody it brainwashes people.
You are so right. Like that's the culture in Iran. If somebody is rich, other people are saying, who did he fuck over? Like, how did he get this wealth? Everyone hates them, kind of. Like, even though they might be nice in person.
The thing is, in Iran, if you want to be rich, you have to, like, walk on people, you know? You have
even here, I feel like.
But less, of course. Much better, you know? You have no idea back there. You can't be rich if you can't lie. You can't be rich if you don't, like, backbite or, like, walk on, betray your co-workers or, like, other people or, like, laborers or employees that work for you. There's no chance that you will succeed if you don't suck up to the upper class or, like, those in the, what is it called? Like, religious people.
True.
Religious groups. If you don't suck up to them, there's no chance that you will like succeed in Iran, no matter how talented you are.
That's true. Like it's almost like goodness does not pay in Iran. Like you do have to have this toxicity in you.
It's such a dark, devilish place.
Yeah.
You know, it's like hell on earth, basically.
But
there's like no light. You know, it's so bad now that I think about it.
Yeah, the only light is just these people watching the shows that tell them being poor is good and like going on vacation together. Just each other. All they have is each other and their relatives.
Exactly. Yes, so true.
Sad. But I did hear somewhere that like billionaires here too, to accumulate $1 billion, you do have to be worse. Like a worse person then. Just because then you are like, who needs that much money? You're really like fighting for something.
And that kind of money is not the kind that could liquidify that easily. So it's like a very difficult money to kind of, first of all, accumulate and then to spend it even. So it's just a vast number. Sum of money. Like even Elon Musk or these billionaires that exist right now, they can't spend it that easily, like a large sum of money. They can't just pull out $1 billion or $2 billion.
That's true. I wonder.
It's all assets.
Yeah, exactly. It's like almost it's not even there. It feels like.
So true.
That is crazy. I really want to show you a couple parts from the book, but just before that, I wanted to say, isn't it amazing that they showed Marianne getting ghosted in letter form? She kept writing letters and there was no response.
So good.
It was hilarious. And it was like each time, it was just like a text message. Like, oh, I'm so looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Kiss, kiss. And then the next message is, how dare you not reply? What the fuck? It's like, I've been there.
She has such mood swings. Yeah. So true. Wow.
The one thing I'm glad is that she didn't get sick right after Willoughby broke up with her. Like first she got over that and then she got sick. So I was like, oh, if you got sick, I would have been done with you, because then you get Colonel Brandon to love you again and it's like you manipulated everyone. I hate you. But that didn't happen.
So true. You know, controversial opinion. I didn't like Colonel Brandon.
What?
I hated
so
every scene
handsome in the movie, at least.
I agreed with Marianne on this thing, that if I was like her, I would have avoided him at every chance to.
Why?
I don't know. I just don't like him. He's just too desperate as well.
He's very desperate. That's true. But
just boring.
Yeah. But he always brought her gifts.
And I'm not usually like that, you know. You know it because I can like talk to older people at all times, you know.
That's interesting.
But this man is just so annoying.
He would keep showing up and like ask, and you think, oh, you're literally 20 years older. Walk away. But
he was just 35, I think.
Yeah. So 35, 17.
It's not that bad at that time. It's bad at this time, but still a 35-year-old isn't that old.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, he knew so much about
Still.
music. He was like, oh, you played that passionato. I thought that was interesting. I was like, and you know what I liked is that first they really built him up. Before he showed up, they're like, oh, this man is so handsome, so rich. He never bats an eye at anyone. Like, let's see what happens with you. So I think that's what made me like him. I like somebody who's unavailable.
Oh.
But then as soon as he comes, he just becomes available instantly.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
are you a colonel? What are you up to during the day? You're
So
hanging out with a
true.
17-year-old.
Yeah,
Crazy.
exactly. He immediately liked her.
Yeah.
And she's 17. She's a child.
Uh-huh.
And I can understand a man that is like mature and old
Mm-hmm.
actually loving a girl that is like this young, you know? How
Yeah.
would you go about that? What kind of conversation would you have with this girl?
That is so true. And you're right, it was so creepy the way even they showed it in the TV show.
Yeah.
It's like, so at first they show him in a medium shot where you see his whole face and they say, this is Colonel Brandon. Here's Eleanor. And then they cut to Eleanor, they cut to him like closer and he's looking like really intensely. And then they cut away quickly. Yeah. And then they're like, this is Marianne. And then they cut again to him even closer. And he's like licking his lips, whatever he's doing. And it's just like they hold on him for a second too long.
Oh, wow.
And it was such a great way to show like instantly that he likes Marianne and also show like the creepiness and her uncomfortability. All because of the size of the frame and how long they held on him.
Wow.
So good.
I did not realize that.
It was, it just blew me away. I was like, that's
Such
very
a good point.
good filmmaking.
No, yeah. The movie was. Did you like the movie better than the TV show?
To be honest with you, the movie, I watched it a few years ago. I barely remember anything. It's crazy. I don't know why. But I didn't like it, I guess, because I don't remember it.
I see. Yeah,
What did you-
exactly.
The TV show I love though, because you're right, it's so close to the book.
It is. like you don't even have to read the book if you do that. But
That's
do
true.
read it because Eleanor has like this side to her that you can't see.
You
in
can't
not
see,
in the
yeah.
movie, not the TV show.
Mhm.
And it's all in the book. You have to read the book to know like what
Yeah.
she's thinking.
In the TV show, she's very like calm and
Yeah.
nice. She's nice to everyone. But then you actually read
In
her
the
real thoughts.
book, you see what chaos her mind has. Like always wondering if Marianne is engaged or not. Always stressing about that. Always like analyzing other people, observing them, judging them. Always like justifying and thinking, and she's all in her head, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, she's like, there's one part where she's like, I said yes, ma'am, to whatever this lady Middleton said or whoever, but I didn't hear a word she said. And I was like, oh, great. So you did say yes, ma'am, but you don't even know. Okay. So this part is just what you talked about right now is Eleanor and her mom talk about how the sister, like, does she have an engagement or does she not? Like, what's the point? What's the situation here? So do you want to be Eleanor or the mother?
I'll be Eleanor. Okay. I want no proof of their affection, said Eleanor, but of their engagement I do.
I am perfectly satisfied of both.
Yet not a syllable has been said to you on the subject by either of them.
So they're saying basically, I need proof. Like nobody's asking the sister, like, were you engaged? They're just basically assuming. And then of course Eleanor is saying, well, I've got to see some proof. Like, is there a ring? We can't just what's it called? Just believe in our own head without any proof. But the mom is saying, I don't need any proof. I've seen them hang out all day and they look in love. Okay, so she says, I have not wanted syllables where actions have spoken so plainly. Has not his behavior to Marianne and to all of us for at least the last fortnight declared that he loved and considered her as his future wife, and that he felt for us the attachment of the nearest relation? Have we not perfectly understood each other? Has not my consent been daily asked by his looks, his manner, his attentive and affectionate respect? Where am I? My Eleanor, is it possible to doubt their engagement? How could such a thought occur to you? How is it to be supposed that Willoughby, persuaded as he must be of your sister's love, should leave her perhaps for months without telling her of his affection, and they should part without a mutual exchange of confidence?
I confess, replied Eleanor, that every circumstance except one is in favor of their engagement, but that one is the total silence of both on the subject, and with me it almost outweighs every other.
That's so funny because Eleanor is right. Like, sure, maybe his looks tell you that he's in love, maybe how nice he is, but nobody mentioned that they're engaged. So what the fuck? Mm-hmm.
The mother is also so stupid too, you know.
You know, I did dislike the mother, especially from the TV show, because even starting episode 1, she's like, Eleanor, you don't understand me. How can I live in a cottage? I feel like you don't appreciate my feelings. And then you're thinking, girl, what are you talking about? Like, your husband is the one who didn't leave you the house.
Exactly.
What the heck?
Oh, but they couldn't, though.
They couldn't, yeah.
Yeah. But still, like, nothing was left to them, so they had to, like, live off whatever they had. Why complain, you know?
Yeah, why complain? Exactly. So I had this hate, but then at some point I realized how guilty she must feel that both her daughters are getting, like, this bad treatment by guys. Like, one of them has been flirted with and left, and the other one has also been, like, kind of flirted with, but there's no, like, no sign. Yeah. And so she was probably thinking at that point, I raised these kids, like, did I raise them badly? Do I have no respect that guys think they could just use my daughters?
Oh yeah, she said that in a book. Oh,
at that point I felt a little bad for her. Okay, which one is this? Oh, I love this one. So as you said, Colonel Brander, you don't like him, but I'm gonna show you why I like him. This is a great passage.
Okay.
So this is Eleanor is talking to Brandon, but also this is like her thought process that you're reading, and this is after her sister has fallen ill. Marianne is super ill, like they think she's gonna die, and so Eleanor is just stressed and she doesn't know where to go.
I see. Okay. So what's this?
So start from this to consult.
To consult with Colonel Brandon on the best means of effecting the latter was a thought which immediately followed the resolution of its performance, and as soon she had rung up the maid to take her place by her sister, she hastened down to the drawing room, where she knew he was generally to be found at a much later hour than the present. It was no time for hesitation. Her fears and her difficulties were immediately before him. Her fears, he had no courage. Her fears. He had no courage, no confidence to attempt the removal of it. He listened to them in silent despondence. But her difficulties were instantly obviated, for with a readiness that seemed to speak the occasion, and the service prearranged in his mind, he offered himself as the messenger who should fetch Mrs. Dashwood. Eleanor made no resistance that was not easily overcome. She thanked him with brief, though fervent gratitude, and while he went to hurry off his servant with a message to Mr. Harris and an order for post horses directly, she wrote a few lines to her mother.
Do you know why I love this?
That was too long. I couldn't even
that was
know
great.
What I was reading.
The last 3 lines are like, I probably could have cut them out. But what I love is, so first of all, Eleanor goes straight to him. It's like, I don't know who else to talk to. Yeah. And then he says, as she was just going over her pains, he was silent and was just listening instead of like giving stupid advice, like being like, don't worry about it, your sister will be fine. No, he did not do that. But then the second part is that, so even though, exactly, like, what was it, the actual word here? Her fears, whatever, he was just quiet, but her difficulties. So then when she told her about the problem, like, we need the mom to come, he immediately was like, I'm going to go get the mom. Don't even worry about it. Like, just go be with your sister. I was like, Colonel Brandon, like, you're probably a busy guy, but I appreciate you. Like, that's so nice.
Yeah, you're right. Yes, exactly. Especially compared to Willoughby. I mean, he's an angel, of course. But still,
I don't know.
Has no effect on me.
If he was not handsome, I would be like, no. But he is handsome.
Does it say that he's in the TV show? I don't know.
Do you remember his face?
Yeah.
Cutie.
But not as cute as Edward Ferrars. in the
Yeah,
TV show.
I guess.
What was the actor's name?
Oh, I forget. But he was also in Downton Abbey.
He was also in, what is it called?
Oh, Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast. He was the Beast.
Oh, yeah. Oh, such a good casting for that movie, by the way.
Daniel, something like that.
Daniel sounds right.
Yeah.
I don't know. But in Downton Abbey, which is a show I'm surprised you didn't watch. Like,
I have watched
Oh, you
it.
have, you have. Okay.
Yes. Have you watched it?
I watched the first 3 seasons.
Oh,
And if
me
you
too,
remember,
yeah.
oh, you too?
Yeah,
Because
I
the thing
didn't
is,
continue.
not to, this is a big spoiler, but this guy dies in season 3. And he's just the most romantic guy until then.
Exactly.
So after he died, I was like, what's the point?
He just went to Hollywood, I think, the actor.
Oh, that's why they killed him?
Yeah. He went to play Beauty and the Beast, I think, after this, of course. But,
I see.
it was like a British TV show, so he had to get out of there, go to America.
Damn, but that's
why
crazy.
would you do that? Yes, that was such. I watched the whole thing just for him.
Me too.
And after he died, I didn't continue.
Exactly.
There's no
That's
point.
great. Well, imagine one actor having so much power that you just
know,
stopped
right?
watching the whole show.
There's so many of them. There was this show I was watching. It's not that popular. I bet not a lot of people know about it. It's called Sanditon. It's also based on a Jane Austen book that was unfinished. So she wrote until 11 chapters and then she died at the time. Yeah. So she couldn't continue it, but they made a TV show based on that. And I think Andrew Davis actually directed the TV show and wrote some episodes.
I don't know who he is.
He's very famous.
What movie did he direct?
I hope I'm saying his name right. I'm sure it's Andrew Davis. But he did Pride and Prejudice, I think, the TV show, like the
okay.
Yeah, the British adaptations and things like this. So he has lots of experience in Jane Austen. He tried to adapt this novel and make it like an ending and add some other characters and change the storyline, of course. And the TV show was so cool and I loved it a lot. So romantic and great and modern also. But then the actor decides that he doesn't want to come anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And also the actor believes that fairy tale ending is not realistic. So he decides to not have the typical Jane Austen happy ending, happily ever after ending.
Okay.
So the main character, like the heroine, is not going to end up with a hero at the end.
Don't you think that's good? No. I think that's so good, though.
Why?
Even in this book, I was kind of annoyed how well it worked out. It's like, oh, sure. So this guy who was engaged for 4 years, and even though Lucy acted, that was not realistic at all.
Yeah.
Like Lucy was like, I'll stay with you forever. I love you. And then suddenly she's married to the brother.
Exactly. Especially since Lucy didn't even like his brother.
Yeah.
As well. And I don't know what happened. Like, was she only after the money?
That's the thing. That's what they're implying, but it was not in the book at all up to that point.
Yeah. And even like for these 4 years, she didn't receive any like money or
That's
anything.
right.
Like,
and it was hidden.
There was no even like proof that she would get any money even by marrying him.
That's why they even hid it, because they knew the mom was going to be so mad. And as soon as the mom said, you're going to lose everything, Edward, she was still like, I'm going to stay with you. I don't care.
True.
And then suddenly, 100 pages later, she comes back saying no.
Yeah, he comes back to the house and declares this kind of thing.
Fuck no. So happy endings are not right all the time.
But I mean, it's fiction. And there are audience that need like satisfaction. Are you going to disappoint them? I'm going to. I always like to disappoint readers. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's because then you can just imagine in your head what could have been instead of, okay, well, I guess it's all good now. You don't need to think about it anymore.
Yeah. I always like happy endings as well. But when I write too, like, I have these dark endings, these dark paths and kind of like resolutions at the end, which is not good because I don't like to read this kind of things. But
interesting. But you like to subject other people
maybe
to
it's
it.
because like I'm trying to write realistically, maybe, and being realistic maybe means that it has to be dark.
But also it depends on your stories. Like up to this point, at least you've been writing about characters who start out good. So you can't really end it with them being good too. Then what's the purpose of this
That's true.
story?
Yeah, yeah. But also, like, yeah, you're right. I mean, I was going to talk about the fact that even Jane Austen characters, they're good in the beginning and they're also good at the end. Or maybe not.
Yeah, that's right. At least they learn something. Like they start with one folly.
Oh yeah.
I think that's why I don't like Eleanor getting together with Edward, because it was just like, oh sure, two perfect people with totally circumstances that should not be letting them get married. Why do they?
Exactly. The thing is that Eleanor didn't even show her feelings. You know, she didn't change as much as Marianne. So her thing was that she was a rational girl and she repressed her feelings. And she didn't even get to, like, sure, if there was a scene in the book that she got to show her feelings to Edward, like before he got married or anything.
Exactly. Just one little thing.
Yeah. That would have been a growth in her character. But when he just comes back after everything is done and, you know, he just proposes to her and then she shows some feeling.
Exactly.
I'm not sure.
Like the only there was one moment she showed feeling, and it was right after Edward said my engagement is broken, and then she like ran out of the room crying with tears of joy. It's too late at that point.
Yeah.
Jane Austen, come on.
Yeah, you're right. There should have been like some other point, especially like I think maybe starting from the time that Marianne liked Brandon. Maybe at that time they should have like showed a change in Eleanor as well.
Yeah. Maybe they... Do you think we missed it? Is that possible?
No.
No.
I don't know. I think that would have been much better if she showed something. But still, you have to consider the time period. At that time, women didn't normally show their feelings. And Marianne was like a special one.
I guess. And you know, Eliza, the girl that Colonel Brander used to be married to, I think is the epitome, is that the right word, of a woman who really gives into her sensitive side, because it said that she was seduced by a lot of people, you know. So like, sure, Brandon, the next guy, Willoughby. So she just, as soon as somebody liked her, she gave all in. But then you realize how bad that is. Like, she should have just kept... And, you know, her other thing was that even though Brandon was great, she just kept looking for a better guy. So I think Jane Austen was, like, trying to say, avoid this. Just find one guy and get married, or else you're going to end up poor, nobody likes you, and you'll have a baby with no dad.
Yeah, exactly. No baby father.
Exactly.
Baby daddy. Oh, that's what they call it these days.
So... moral of the story: stay sensible, but also be senseful. Oh, I hate sensible as a word.
Yeah,
it sounds just like sense.
Exactly, because sensible also means if you're rational.
Exactly.
That means like he's a sensible person. So
yeah, what the hell?
And does it also mean like he's emotional as well?
When you search up, that's what it means, but I don't believe it.
So cool. But I think the word is right. Like, that's the origin and actual meaning of the word.
Like, what could have hurt Jane if she wrote the book called Sense and Sensitivity? That would have been, like, just the same. But it would have made it so much easier for people to understand.
By the way, I wanted to say this. At the time of Jane Austen, the Prince of England was called Prince Regent.
Okay.
Prince Regent was famous for... Okay, so he made a lot of changes, and at the time, fashion was much different, culture kind of changed and all that. But also, one of the things was that one of his favorite authors was Jane Austen.
Wow.
And the fact is that he had every copy of her book in each one of his residences. So whenever he went to any... so each library that he had, each house that he went to, he had one copy of Jane Austen book. Like, every one of them. And Sense and Sensibility was his favorite book.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
The
like,
prince.
having the prince as your, like, avid fan.
Did they ever meet? Do you know?
I don't think so.
Wow, what the
Maybe.
hell?
Or maybe. Yeah.
He could have just called her over.
Maybe they
Did Jane
met,
Austen
though.
get
I'm
married?
not sure. No, she didn't.
Ah,
Oh,
that's
wow.
crazy. And she died when she was only 40 or something. She could have been married to the prince.
No, I don't think so. Because those people, like kings and princes, these people are just, you know.
They're looking for money.
No, that's one thing, but they would have mistresses, of course.
Mm.
But do you want her to be just a mistress?
Yeah, you think Jane wouldn't have done that? Yeah, I guess.
I don't think so. She is like Eleanor, mostly, I
Mm-hmm.
think.
That's
Have you
crazy.
seen this movie called Becoming Jane?
No.
Actually, there's this Anne Hathaway has played in it, as well as this really famous Scottish or Irish guy. Yeah, the Irish actor. I forgot his name. I don't know. But it's very famous too. So this movie is about Jane Austen's life, but it's fictional. So they kind of like suspect based on some letters and some things that she had this crush on this guy or like this love. And based on just these letters and these ideas, vague ideas, they developed a fictional story, romantic story.
Good.
Yeah, but
That's a
I
good
don't
story.
think that happened at all. You know?
But you think she was 40 and she never had a romantic relationship?
Of course, I'm sure she had romantic relationships, but definitely she didn't marry. The thing is, like, maybe she didn't even have that many romantic kind of inclinations, but her desire for that
drove her to write these books.
Yeah, because like even I don't have that much of a like romantic life, you know, but still I'm drawn to these kind of things, and I'm sure lots of women relate to that as well. There's just this desire for romance, ideal romance, especially like hers are all just happy endings, and they're so unrealistic. Each one of the stories,
It's like the
So
guy is
fairy
always
tale.
a billionaire and
yeah,
he's like, I will never leave you. I love you so much.
exactly. And these things never happen at that time.
That's
I'm
right.
Sure. Yeah. So
That's so good. Good for Jane.
So, but good for her that she wrote these amazing
Exactly.
literature. Now we can enjoy it for years and years, and they make so many adaptations and interpretations based on her art.
That's right. It's just like such a simple story if you think about it too. It's just two sisters, two dating situations, and a bunch of social critique.
Yeah. And it's just such a beautiful art too, because she has this contrast in her story. It's
That's
so
true.
beautifully written, you know? Just the contrast of sense and sensibility, feelings and rationale. And
Yeah.
all these things.
Constantly clashing.
Yes.
These two.
Such a good one, you know?
Check
I like
out.
these things. Yeah.
Yes.
I like irony. I like these kind
Oh,
of like,
yeah.
all these devices that you can use in your writing. So beautiful.
So please, if you like romantic comedies and you like classical novels and you want to read something that's just beautiful to listen to, read Sense and Sensibility and let us know what you think.
Yeah. Even if, like, okay, Sense and Sensibility's book may be a little bit boring, listen to audiobook.
Yeah.
That's so much better. You'll get through it. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's much
So
better.
fun.
And also, did you know that Taylor Swift's, I think, Folklore album or the other one was derived from this Sense and Sensibility
What?
movie? Yeah.
What?
So she said in an interview that she watched this movie over and over again, and it was kind of like an inspiration for her album.
Amazing.
And it makes sense because like it's all kind of like in woods and fall, autumn. You know, these things are mostly like the inspiration behind the
I
album.
love that. Actually,
Kind of has a cottage and
Yes.
the cottage girl.
I wonder if
Or-
it's that Folklore or the other one.
Yeah,
Evermore.
there were two. Yeah, there were two
Yeah.
of them.
That's great because I love those albums. Like I should
Yeah.
listen again thinking about this.
She said she watched them over and over again. Just the movie though.
Amazing.
So good. Okay. I like the TV show much better because there was more emotion in like and kind of like it was much more romantic, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Well, again,
Yeah.
I don't even remember the movie, so it was very romantic. The TV show.
Yeah.
And guess what? If you have a Toronto Public Library membership, you could just watch it on there for free on the website.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So true. We watched it there as well. So yeah, I think that's it for
That's
today,
it for
right?
Sense and Sensibility. But can we do one quick
Sure.
improv game before we say goodbye?
Yes, yeah, that's
This
so
one
fun.
is a little difficult, but the purpose of it is to say as quickly as possible. Like, don't even think.
Okay.
So not even a second. It's the one word story. So you say word, I say word. You say word, I say word, and we have to turn this into like a 1 minute story.
Yeah.
But you don't get to think. Like, for example, if you say I have to say a few days ago. Like, we just say it quickly. We don't think about what the story is. Just the first thing that comes to our head. So you start this time.
Yesterday
There,
was a
which is one word.
was.
Then I get
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Oh my god. A tree
that
was
quiet
tall.
and
There
happened
to
fall
down.
donkey.
What happened? Fall
I-
down donkey
There happened to fall down on
a
rabbit
that
was
running
towards
a
house.
the
The rabbit
was
fat
and
chubby.
you give all the adjectives for like chubby fat rabbit. Okay.
I
And I oh my god, I'm thinking now.
don't think
Yeah. I went
crying
in
the
forest.
and
I
tried
to
find
the
rabbits.
That's stupid. There
was
a
plant
there
that
looked
like
a
rabbit. That looked like that looked like a yeah, I'm gonna say rabbit.
Oh my god.
That's a great story. It's like a plant forest, exciting.
It's very much like Sense and Sensibility's kind of like atmosphere, you know, the cottages and woods and all that.
You know, I feel like this is Margaret's story. This is what she's up to during the day when the sisters are away. She's like,
You're
rabbit,
right, yeah.
plants.
Such a like. We could make that a children's book probably. Let's
oh
write it
yeah,
down. Let's publish
That's
it.
great. Yeah.
And it's so violent too, like the tree falling down.
That's
and the
true.
rabbit and the rabbit.
You
and
find
the
a plant that looks like
a
a
chubby fat rabbit.
And then the thing is, you could have one word per page and do drawings,
Oh,
illustrations.
that's right. Yeah.
Okay, we'll publish
So-
that book. All right. Thank
Bio-
you so much for listening to this episode. Check out Sense and Sensibility.
Mhm.
Check out our YouTube,
YouTube
Instagram,
channel.
TikTok. And we hope
Our
to
TikTok
see you
podcast.
I feel like we're doing the
Thank
word
you.
thing again. Like,
What?
and watch the
I know,
video.
right? Yeah, we sound like these robots or something.
Oh, but see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Take
Bye.
care of yourself.
Take
and
care of
watch
yourself.
Sense and Sensibility.
Work out every day too.
Be sensible.
Yes, and have sense.
Yes.
Okay.